Hi, my name is Trien, and today I will show how I did the assignment 2 of Cloud Foundation. This is my SID. Okay, so first for the VBC creation, I'm gonna put my SID over here, and then I created it. So next I'm gonna need to have an Ethernet gateway. So here I create one with the name my Internet gateway, and then later I will add it to my VBC. Then I need to create my subnet. All right, so I create my subnet with under my VPC. I'm gonna create 4 of them, 2 for private and 2 for public, in 2 different velocity zones. So the block here is gonna have a /24 since it's only allow for since the requirement only allow for 251 IP addresses. Then I create off. So for subnet, next I need to use the round table to associate them. So I can create one for one for public and one for private. So the public will have the internet gateway, and the private is not, which is why it make it a private one. And that is how I made the VBC. See, as you can see right here, show what I did: 2 public, 2 private, 2 availability zones. Okay, so moving on is going to be task B, which to host a static website with EC2. Okay, so first I'm gonna create a security group. Okay, here I create this one. I have created one, so this is how I created. I put the name I want here, and then I add inbound rule with SSH and HTTP. Right? So with this, I had made my security group to allow inbound traffic. All right. So next, I'm gonna create my EC instance. So I'm gonna make one under the name of task B. I'm gonna use the Amazon Linux here. Amazon Linux 2 AMI for the Amazon machine image, and then this one insert type since it's free, and I use block key, and I'm gonna edit my network setting using my VPC, using public subnet. I enable this one to have a permanent public IP address. I select assisted one that I already made, the web S3, and then I launch it, and I will have one. All right. So after this, okay, I'm gonna run this one. Okay, run. All right, it's already running, and then I check it. I open the public IP address. Right, as you can see, it's already hosting with EC2. Thank you. Okay, so next is task C, static website with x3. So first, in order to carry out this task, I'm going to need to create a bucket. Okay, I'm going to put a unique name over here. And then I enable ACLs. I uncheck the block of public access. Then I create one. Okay, so after created it, I'm going to upload my files, my folders. Okay, this is my, okay, so I'm going to upload mine and add a folder. Then with the folder I have, for example, this one. But before that, I'm going to need to check for, I'm going to go into property and make sure that the stated website hosting is on. And I did it and put these two to make sure that I can host it. Okay, I save changes and then I go back to my bucket in order to access my what I have stored. Here, go to index and then it will create a URL for me. And then so click on it and yes, you can see. Thank you. Okay, task D, host a static website with elastic beanstalk. In order to carry out this one, I have to follow these steps. First, I need to create application. So I set it as server. And then I create one. Okay, after that, I need to create a new environment. English server. Last name. Use the platform. I'm going to use Tomcat for this one. So I can upload my code on my local file. Things. Right. And use some symbols and then say V1. Then next. Okay, just use the default lab row, key, and then okay, use my own BBC. My public, do public subnet, and next. Security script as always, web security group. And then I created it. Okay, so the domain's been finished. Is the environment successfully launched, and then I can use the domain to open the website. All right, so what's the good thing about Elastic Beanstalk is that it simplifies the deployment and management of web application. So it reduces a lot of time, which compared to task B to deploy an instance. So that is what is so helpful to use Elastic Beanstalk. That is how I did the task C. Okay, for task B, auto scaling and load balancer. I want to make the task B highly available. So in order to do that, just to use the load balancer, I have created manually an instance with the image, the AMI from the instance from task B. So they're basically the same. Okay, so I use load balancers. I already have created one. I'm going to show how I made it. Okay, so I use the default, the most great application load balancer, use internet facing, put my load balancer name over here. Default, I received my SID, security group, as always, the web security group, check this one, and then for this one, I need to have a target group. Okay, a target group which will target the two instances that I want to group together. Okay, instance, go with instance, target group name, put it here, and then just some random test, okay. And then I go to next, and then I will choose the two instances that I had made. So it's the task B and the task E. Okay. So after that, I click include a spending and I create one. So after creating target group, I'm just gonna put it right here. Okay. So create load balancer, and then I will have my load balancer. Okay, so I can check the resource map, which link what I have done here. Okay, so this is just for the actually you only have two, but I already make the auto scaling, so it's have three more, which is total is 5. So, but you look at this. Now this one is the create by load balancer. This one and this one. Yep, this is the public, which is linked to the static website I made. Okay. So by clicking on here, it will give me the DNS name, which is not an IP address, and I can use this one. Go to my website. Right. So that is the first thing for the auto scaling. Next, I need to for the load balancer. Next, I need to do the auto scaling. Okay. So what is auto scaling for? So what if traffic increase and the load balancer cannot handle more traffic into manual instances that I created, so it needs to be able to auto scale, which can create more instances to handle traffic. Yep. So okay, so I'm gonna go to auto scaling group. I already have create one. I'm gonna show how I made it. Okay, so choose an end. This we're gonna need a template. I need to launch a template. So this template will have the image, the default instance that I use to make sure that all the instance that will be created by the auto scaling will be the same as the original one, which I use task B. Okay, so how did I make this one? So basically, I just go to 3 instances. I choose one, and then action instance image and template, and I create image. All right, that's how I make an image for that. Okay, after this, just the type to as regular as what I did before. Rocky web security group, and then I create it. So after creating it, I'm gonna have template. All right, so go to next. I'm gonna choose, for instance, always my SID to public subnet, balance net. Then since I already have a load balancer, I'm gonna attach it. So select my group that I made before, and keep this a default, check, right? And then I'm gonna need a group size, so maybe I want to have at least 3 by default, and put 3 over here, and the max is 5. Okay, so I'm gonna have how do I make sure that that in what percentage of the CPU utilization that if it passes the auto scaling will know to make a new instance. So for this one I make 50. So if the CPU utilization is 50%, it's gonna make a new instance. And then I go next, and then next, and then I create it on auto scaling group. So after that, I can check in the load balancer. Well, I can check it right here. Here, click on it. Okay, you can see. And then if I go back to the load balancer, it's in my design. My design instance is 3, so it will have created 3 more instances, but these 3 doesn't have any public IP address. All right, it was created by auto scaling. And that is how I did task E. Okay, so in task F, I'm gonna host a dynamic website with a database. So I already have it done over here, but I'll show how I did it. First, I'm gonna need to launch an instance for the inventory app. So it's gonna be pretty much the same as what I did in task B. Okay, so after I launch an instance, and then I need to go to check it to make sure that I have attached the correct I have to make sure I attach the correct IAM row. Okay, modify IAM row, right? Is the lab instance profile correct? So I have the and then I need to like it, right? And then I will paste all of this command line into so to make sure that it will install the Apache web server in PHP, download the lab file, download and install the AWS SDK for PHP, and finally turn on the web server. Right? Copy this to here. So after having the dynamic website working, we're gonna need to have a database. So we're gonna need to launch the ODS in a private subnet. Okay. So I already have one here. I'm gonna show how I did it. Gonna choose my SQL and use template for dev test according to the lab that I did. So better be just choose this one, and then I name it. Make the password for my database. I use my BBC. I need to create a subnet group. Okay, so I name and use my own BBC as my 2 availability zones, and make sure that I choose the private subnet, 2 private subnets. Okay, so that I have my own database subnet group. No purposes. VPC. I need to have my own security group just to make, okay. So this one is only allow for MySQL or Aurora port 3306. It's different from the regular web server group that I made. All right, so after this, I'm gonna just keep this one at default, and then I create my own database. So with the database and dynamic and the website, I need to connect them together. Okay. And here, I'm gonna open the address. Okay, so in the setting, I need to make sure that I paste the endpoint that I make on my database, name the database, my username and password, and then save it. So after that, I can add and delete, edit inventory. That is how I did task app. And finally, task G, a system architecture to visualize all my previous components. So first I have my VPC, which have will two availability zone, and inside of these zone each will have a public and a private subnet, and for the public will be access to the internet gateway, and for the private only local. And I have a S3 bucket, which user from the internet can access my website. And the two cafe instance will be with the load balancer will handle the traffic among them. And in case traffic increase, the auto scaling will handle the creation of more instances. And finally, for the inventory app, which is a dynamic, we have a database stored in two private subnet. And that is how I created the architecture diagram. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening.